Last year we already had a Brixton motorcycle review, the Glenville 250, and with that model I had some more or less serious problems. So we can say that that bike was not really building the image of the young brand Brixton, but for 2020 came a new model, the Crossfire 500, which is really a flagship of the brand, the factory, and it really wants to increase the image of it internationally. Let's know how this bike is built up and how is it working. Crossfire is a new line in the Brixton family because it's built up from two parts. The cross is the letter X. It means the letter X, the middle letter of Brixton, which can be found a lot of places in the bike, and fire means that it's a bike full of fire, so it's full of passion and good feeling to ride it, to look at it and everything like this. And this letter X, the cross, can be found a lot of places around the bike, and the number one from these is the fuel tank, which has a positive two sharp lines which are forming together a letter X also, and this type of fuel tank will be found on all Crossfire motorcycles of Brixton, but there are a lot of other letter X's, for example on the foot peg, on the radiator cover, but you can find the Brixton and in the front lamp also, and you can find lots of Brixton brand names around the bike, on the handlebars, in the middle of the handlebar, on the fuel cap, and everywhere around the motorbike, also even in the front lamp. Of course, not only these axes are the important design parts of the Crossfire, but a lot of other things, for example the shortcut front mudguard, the round lap, the round dashboard, the straight handlebar, the very nice rider seat, which is formed and designed really beautiful. The passenger seat is not the same design, and maybe a reason of it can be that this bike is not really planned for two-person riding. Possible to do it, but not this is the main field of it. And the exhaust, the rear section and everything else is really beautiful and building up the image of the factory. And we have to say one word about the front lamp, because it's not only round but really a beautiful piece. In the middle the Brixton brand name is written, and there is daytime lightings around it from 4 pieces put together. It's not very new technique that it switching when the outside light is going down. You have to do it personally with the button from the right handlebar, just like this. So with one button you can decrease the light of the DRL and increase or switch on the normal light, and of course the flash is working all the time anyhow you are using it. The dashboard is also a classic piece from the point that this is round, but when I switch it on, we all can see that this is an absolutely 21st century modern piece with an RPM counter. We can see the current speed of us, the gear indicator, it's very important and a very good thing. We have an overall distance and only one trip computer, trip counter, nothing else. I can make it to 0 if I want with pushing the same button long, an exact time, the fuel we have, and the temperature of the water. So we have all the information we need, but nothing more than the very serious, very necessary. The Crossfire 500 has a brand new engine. Its cubic capacity is 486 cubic centimeter. The engineering work and the planning of it was made absolutely in Austria. Of course it is built in China, just as the whole motorbike, but it has a lot of, the whole motorbike has a lot of other parts which are coming from Europe, but the engines only was designed or built, planned here, sorry. What is important that this is an inline 2-cylinder petrol engine, and it's absolutely maxing out the A2 drivers or riders license category, so it's 48 brake horsepower It's coming in on pretty high RPM at 8,600 or something like this, and the top RPM of the bike when the electronics is cutting the fuel is just 100 or 200 over this. And the torque, so the max power is coming on really high RPM, but the torque, the 43 Newton meter, is coming lower at 6,750, I think. So the torque is coming lower. Anyhow, the whole bike can be ridden absolutely well on public roads. The speed what it likes is between 90 and 110 kilometers per hour. At 100 the RPM is just 5,000. And although the bike has not too much kilometers in it at the moment, a little bit over 500, but so I was not pulling it really hard to max throttle, but anyhow it can ride 130, 140 kilometers per hour easily, so it's not suffering yet, but you can feel that not even you on the seat and not even the whole bike, especially the engine, is liking the most that speed range. Just one more info, that at 140 the RPM is 7,000. The good part of this inline two-cylinder engine is that the throttle response of it is pretty direct. In the Euro 5 era, this, that I am just moving the throttle and it immediately starts to increase the RPM, it's a very, very good thing. The latest motorbikes world, it's absolutely not typical, very, very sadly. And another good thing is the sound of the exhaust, because that's really beautiful. Really a nice classic motorbike sound, and you can hear it while riding all the time when you are riding with city and, let's say, pre-city speeds. Sooner I mentioned that the bike has a lot of parts coming from Europe. Let's go on with the suspension, and if we speak about the suspension, then it was coming from Japan, because it's Kayaba. We have upside down telescopic forks. Unfortunately, we do not really know the data of them. I think the width can be 41 or maybe 43, but 41 seems to be a better tip. Really thick and good upside down telescopic forks. The damping can be changed from the top of both telescopes, and they are really working well, because only the positive road mistakes can be felt a little bit, not really disturbing, but you can feel it. It's not an enduro, it's a naked bike, a classic naked bike. But the negative road mistakes, the holes and things like this, are really treated well by the suspension. And also when you are riding on curvy roads, as the bike is not heavy, 190 kilos ready to ride weight, it's really very, very good to ride with the bike, even when the curves are changed, the direction of the curves are changed. And also a top piece is the tire choice, because Brixton is giving Pirelli Angel tires to the bike, and they have really top and really great grip, so you can ride, you can enjoy the curves very, very well with this bike. And if there is any kind of problem and you have to stop, then you have only one disc brake in the front. In this category it's absolutely enough, but it's a top, a really big brake disc. 320 millimeters is the diameter of it, and we have a Spanish brake on it, and it's a radial one, and all the brake tubes are made from iron, so it's the whole thing is really a very good and top quality thing. The only let's say critic I can say is that the hand power necessity of the brake system is pretty high, so you really have to pull it hard, but then the efficiency of the braking is absolutely top. And also very important that the ABS system, which is of course standard, is coming from Bosch, and this is the latest, one of the latest developments of Bosch. Of course, the rear central suspension unit is also coming from Kayaba. The preload and the damping can be also changed, but the preload only on the top of the spring on a really secret place. I don't really can imagine how is it possible to change the preload of the bike without destroying your own hand. the damping can be changed with a screwdriver much easier from the left side. Anyhow, the rear suspension unit is working with my body weight with the standard preload very well. When I got the bike, the previous rider said that for him it was too hard, but he's only a little bit more than the half of my body weight maybe. So for me it was really good. If you are a light rider, then you have to change once at least the preload of the rear suspension. The rear brake is a 240 millimeter diameter piece, and which is a very big red point from me is the rear brake's pedal, because its position is really absolutely perfect for me. The seat position is really comfortable. Of course, I know that for my 190 centimeter body, this bike is also small, or at least looking small. I was riding over 230 kilometers today with it, and I have not really serious comfort problems at all. So not my knees are aching, nothing really. The foot position is good, the rear brake position I already mentioned, perfect, excellent really, and the upper body is really absolutely comfortable, so straight upper body, wide handlebars, so everything is good. There are two things which I didn't really like. One of them is this fuel tank with these sharp lines and this letter X and design and everything else is a colored plastic, not plastic, sorry, a colored iron, yes. Anyhow, I am pushing it with my legs in these cordura or textile trousers. I cannot keep my body weight when, for example, making a real emergency braking for higher speeds. So anyhow, I was pushing it together. At the end, I was always keeping some of my body weight on the handlebar, which is not really good. The other thing is that as the bike is built up really as a classic motorbike, so not as a sporty one, because then the handlebars had to be a little bit positioned to the front, but with this handlebar positioning it's really a classic seat position. But when you are going over that magic 110 kilometers per hour approximately, then your upper body is starting to work as a sail, and the wind is really pushing you backwards, and that's why you are not really wondering about how much the bike is going over 140 kilometers per hour, because what you will like is also the speeds between 90 and 110 more or less. So all in all, the new Brixton Crossfire 500 is a really well usable and good motorbike. It has good quality main pieces. The engine is absolutely not bad. When you are riding, the whole quality feeling of the bike is not like that what we are speaking on that this is just a Chinese motorbike, because it is not. It's really feeling like a Japanese or European or any kind of motorbike. It can even be a classic English motorbike if we want to believe really that. So all the parts are very good. The only problem is that and I was really surprised when I saw this data, that the price of it is, for example, higher than a Honda CB500F version. Of course, that's a modern looking motorbike, a lot of plastic and things like this, and this is a much more classic, much better looking. The technique is nearly the same as in the case of the Honda, but the looking of this Brixton Crossfire 500, I have to say, is really much better than the Japanese rivals, but you have to pay approximately 10% more money for it, in Hungary at least. So you really have to love this looking and this style and everything, and then you will have a good and well rideable classic looking motorcycle. If you liked our review, please push a thumb up on it. In the description under the review you can find the link where you can donate our work. If you haven't done it yet, please subscribe for our channel and watch our previous contents as well, and thanks a lot that you were enjoying us.